For most, the idea of a cruise sounds like an ideal vacation. The prospect of luxury dining, first-class entertainment, and a chance to take in beautiful scenery, all while sailing on the ocean, attracts thousands of people aboard these massive ships each year. There is, however, a darker side to these lush vacations. An alarming number of people have mysteriously gone missing while aboard cruise ships. While each one of the cases are different, they all share one thing in common. None of them have ever been found. Number 5. On May 7th, 2005, Hugh Pham and Hugh Tran, a husband and wife of 49 years, set off on a 7-night Caribbean cruise with their daughter and granddaughter. The luxury cruise, which had been given to the couple as a Mother's Day gift, quickly turned into a nightmare when they mysteriously vanished. Pham and Tran were immigrants from Vietnam. In the last days of the Vietnam War, the couple spent weeks aboard a small container ship heading for America. With little water and virtually no food, the trip was perilous to say the least. However, the pair survived the long journey and began a new life in America, where they raised a family together. The Carnival cruise ship the couple, their daughter, and granddaughter were aboard set sail from Barbados on May 7th and headed for Aruba. On May 12th, a crew member of the ship made a bizarre discovery on one of the ship's decks. There, he found 2 passports, 2 pairs of flip-flops, 2 driver's licenses, medication, and a wallet containing cash and credit cards. The names inside read Hugh Pham and Hugh Tran, but the couple were nowhere to be seen. They were immediately reported missing, and the ship was searched. However, it appeared as though the couple had simply vanished into thin air. The ship continued on its path, and it wasn't until 4 hours later that the Coast Guard was notified of their disappearance. It took them more than 13 hours before arriving on location, but once there, they performed a thorough search of the water. Sadly, they found no signs of the missing couple. 2 days later, the ship reached its final destination, with 2 less people aboard than there had originally been. The search was eventually called off, and the couple's family were left with more questions than answers. The official report states investigators believe the couple may have taken their own lives. However, there is no evidence supporting this theory. Number 4. In December of 2004, 37-year-old Annette Meisner boarded a Carnival Lines cruise ship with her teenage daughter and her parents. The cruise, which Annette had won in a contest, was set to be a 7-day-long excursion that would end in Long Beach, California. Annette spent the evening of December 4th singing karaoke with her 17-year-old daughter before heading over to the casino. She had promised her parents she would join them for bingo, so when Annette failed to show up, her parents were concerned. After trying without success to locate their missing daughter, Annette's parents reported her missing to the ship's crew. An extensive search of the ship went underway immediately, and during the search, a crew member discovered Annette's purse lying on the floor in the smoking area on the lower deck of the ship. This in itself was strange, as Annette did not smoke and was known to absolutely loathe the smell of cigarettes. Annette's purse sported a beaded shoulder strap that was found to be broken as though a struggle had ensued. Some reports claim that small spots of blood were also found near the handbag, but this has never been confirmed. To make the situation even more bizarre, it was found that a map of the ship given to passengers upon their arrival was purposefully lodged in front of the camera recording the location where Annette's handbag was found. Annette's daughter allegedly claimed that she and her mother had reported a man for harassing Annette on several occasions throughout their cruise. However, nothing had been done about the man's disturbing behavior. An extensive search of the ship and of the waters was conducted. However, no sign of Annette was ever found. Annette was legally declared deceased in 2005. Number 3. On May 22, 2011, 24-year-old Rebecca Corium disappeared without a trace from aboard a Disney cruise ship called Wonder. Rebecca was hired by Disney Cruises in 2010 as a youth worker, someone who interacted with children aboard their cruises. In June of that year, she was sent to Florida for training before being stationed aboard one of the company's cruise ships that toured the Bahamas. Rebecca spent 4 months aboard the ship before returning home to Britain for some time off. 2 months later, Rebecca returned to work, this time being stationed aboard Wonder, a Disney cruise ship based in the port of Los Angeles that toured Mexico and the Panama Canal. Rebecca took several weeks off for her grandfather's funeral before again boarding Disney's Wonder cruise ship in Los Angeles on May 21, 2011. Rebecca always kept in contact with her parents while aboard the ship, and that day wasn't any different. As soon as the ship set sail, Rebecca sent her parents a message via Facebook confirming the ship had safely left the port and that she would call them in the morning. However, when morning came and Rebecca didn't call, her parents were concerned. Adding to their concern, they learned that Rebecca had not shown up for her usual 9 a.m. shift. An immediate search of the ship quickly ensued. Staff found Rebecca's cabin empty, and a page for her on the ship's intercom received no response. Like most cruise ships, Disney's Wonder was well equipped with multiple security cameras. A check of these cameras revealed that Rebecca was last seen at 5:45 a.m. On the video, she can be seen using one of the ship's onboard phones in a crew area. Rebecca appears distraught in the video and possibly arguing with someone on the phone. She also appears to be wearing clothing that does not belong to her and is too large. A few moments later, a young man can be seen approaching Rebecca asking if she's alright. Rebecca mouths the words "yeah, fine" to the young man before hanging up the phone and walking away. This was the last confirmed sighting of her. The US Coast Guard and Mexican Navy searched the waters for Rebecca following the path that the cruise ship had traveled. However, they found no trace of her. Without any evidence of foul play, it was concluded that Rebecca must have fallen overboard due to a rogue wave, even though there were no reports of one that day. Rebecca's family believes that if this were the case, there would be video evidence, of which there is none. Over the years, several theories have emerged. Some believe Rebecca chose to end her own life and jumped overboard, or that it really was simply a tragic accident. Other theories seem to indicate that Rebecca may have been involved in a love triangle aboard the ship that resulted in her being purposefully pushed overboard. Whatever the case may be, Rebecca's disappearance remains a mystery. Number 2. 40-year-old Marion Carver disappeared from a celebrity cruise ship to Alaska in August of 2004. Marion boarded the vessel solo at its port in Seattle, Washington on August 27th. Over the next several days, the cruise ship made several stops in Alaska, and the trip ended on September 3rd when it docked in Vancouver, British Columbia. Marion was not reported missing until September 7th. Her family did not learn about the cruise until a detective accessed her credit card records. Marion's father immediately contacted the cruise ship company to inquire about his daughter's whereabouts. The company informed him that Marion had boarded the ship, but had gone missing while aboard the cruise ship. According to them, she was last seen by a crew member on the 28th, the day after the ship had left its port. They informed him that she left all of her belongings behind in her cabin, and that they'd been donated immediately after they docked in Vancouver. They had, however, held on to Marion's purse. A subsequent investigation revealed several disturbing facts about Marion's disappearance. Investigators learned that aside from donating what could have been valuable evidence, the cruise ship crew also did not officially report Marion missing until her father called to inquire about his daughter's disappearance. It was also discovered that a member of the crew had told the captain several times about the missing woman, and he was allegedly told to, quote, "just do your job and forget it." The investigation also showed that although Marian's belongings were found in her room, she'd never slept in the bed in her cabin. Marian also hadn't used her C-Pass, an onboard credit card used to access certain areas for guests, as well as to buy food and drinks while on board the ship. Investigators attempted to retrieve video from the cruise. However, according to them, the video automatically erased every 2 weeks, and footage from that night could not be retrieved. The cruise company did fire several employees over the ordeal. However, their official statement was that Marian most likely took her own life and jumped from one of the ship's decks, citing her unemployment and divorce several years earlier as her possible motivation. Marian's family does not believe this theory, and they continue to investigate her disappearance. Number 1. In March of 1998, 23-year-old Amylynn Bradley vanished without a trace while on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. On March 21st, Amy, her parents, and her brother boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas cruise ship and set off for a week-long trip to Curacao. Around 6 a.m. on March 24th, Amy's father discovered that Amy was not in her cabin. After a brief search, her family reported her missing to the ship's crew. A search of the ship ensued, but the crew failed to find any clue as to Amy's whereabouts. Amy's family pleaded with the crew to not dock until a more thorough search of the ship can be conducted. However, the ship made port at its original destination in Curacao. It was learned that Amy had last been seen by her father on her cabin's balcony at about 5:15 a.m. Her shoes were discovered on the balcony. However, her cigarettes and lighter were missing. Prior to that, Amy and her brother had spent the evening in the dance club on the ship, hanging out with members of the ship's band, Blue Orchid. Multiple sightings of Amy have been reported throughout the area where she went missing. Immediately following her disappearance, a cab driver reported a young woman matching Amy's description who had run up to his cab, frantically asking where a payphone was before running away. Later that same year, a U.S. Navy member claimed he was confronted by a woman at a brothel in Curacao, claiming that her name was Amy Bradley and that she was being held against her will. The Navy member did not immediately report this information for fear of facing disciplinary action for visiting a brothel. A Canadian couple believed that they saw Amy on a beach in the Caribbean as well. According to them, Amy was being closely followed by several men and appeared to be in distress. Amy's family believed she was targeted by human traffickers. They theorized that when the ship docked in Curacao, Amy was removed from the ship. Their suspicions are not without evidence, as in 2005, Amy's family received pictures of a woman only identified as Jazz, who was said to be the victim of human trafficking in the Caribbean. Both the FBI and Amy's family believe these photos to be of Amy. However, she has never been found. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.